Bowl season is here. Are you ready to cash in on what you know? Where you play is as important as what you play. The pros play at mybookie.ag. All the lines, odds, and plays, both college and pro, all at mybookie.ag. Play where you get paid super fast and there's never a hassle. Step up and mybookie.ag will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus. Use promo code JJ50 to activate the offer. Don't leave the money on the table. mybookie.ag, promo code JJ50, and your first deposit is matched up to 50%. Play where the pros play because they get paid. mybookie.ag.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the dirt. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me a boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, Doe?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the new style.
We're Jalen and Jacoby. What do we do?
We get the people what they want.
Of course we do. And again, we are preempted on the radio, so we have a television show only, but we'll always leave you with a dope pod to step to. And it's weird for us to talk about this so late in the days on the television show, so we do have to talk about it on the podcast because I do have a lot to say about it. Steph Curry, what are you doing with the mouthpiece, man? Jalen, what is Steph Curry doing with the mouthpiece? Like, we can't put this on our TV show that airs Monday night when it happened on Saturday night, but we also can't pretend it didn't happen. What's he doing?
I've been there, done that.
Jacob's behind the curtain.
Been there, done that. A lot of times, the loose materials you have available to you are ones when you get angry, you end up throwing. Like your headband, like your wristband, like your mouthpiece. It doesn't excuse this behavior in any way, shape, or form. Fortunately for him, he's only been ejected from 2 basketball games ever. The problem is both times that it's happened, once in the NBA Finals and once during this year's regular season, he also did it in the game. And when this happens, it's not something you condone. It's not something that you want to perpetuate. So I look for the league to send a strong financial message to Mr. Curry in a pink slip.
Don't you feel like he should have been suspended by now?
If he was going to be suspended, I think he would have been suspended. I do say this respectfully. When you walk in front of the judge, he does pay attention to your rap sheet. And also the bottom line. And then they make a decision at that point concurrently. I think for Steph, what probably is going to happen, he's going to get suspended for 1 game and fined $25,000.
He should be suspended, I feel like. I mean, it is just a mouthpiece, but you are throwing something at an official. And if you push an official, you're going to get suspended. So how are you going to throw something at an official and not get suspended?
Oh, you don't have to worry. He will.
He's pretty accurate with the mouthpiece throwing. Like, remember, he tried to make it seem like he wasn't throwing at that one fan when it was the NBA Finals, but that fan was the most demonstrative fan in his sight line, and he definitely hit that fan that he was trying to get then.
And that fan represented one of the sons of a minority owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. And how about this, though?
What?
And I want to make sure I say this. It may feel old, too. But you remember a handful of days ago when everybody just was so excited about the Dodgers and the Yankees playing in the World Series?
Yeah, that didn't happen.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Red, you remember that?
No. Yeah, he
Jacoby,
does.
you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
And by the way, I love New York City just like the next man that is not from there. And the ones that ride for the city will tell you, oh man, they'll scream from the heavens about their squad, especially when they're winning. It's almost like a headline that's negative. Oh man, it's in bold print when they're winning. But when they're losing, oh man, it's in fine print. You got to look for them. They ain't talking about it. There ain't a lot of conversation about them right now.
The Yankees?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. What do we always say about going into a season? How do we evaluate teams?
We judge success based off realistic expectation.
And I would say that if you had a Yankee fan at the beginning of the season and you asked them what the realistic expectations were, they would say make the playoffs. That's what we want to do. Yeah. So to make it to Game 7 of a championship series is actually a successful season for the Yankees. And I've been saying this to my Yankee fan friends all weekend long.
And I also have to say this. Big shout to Lil B, the bass god.
Shout out.
And KRS-One said this best. Stop the violence in hip-hop. Why-yo? Stop the violence. Stop the violence.
What?
You read the entire internet, right?
What did I miss? What happened? Oh, I didn't
you don't
see
read
that.
the entire internet?
I've been traveling this
okay,
weekend. I've been traveling this weekend. I forgot about that one. That was a non sequitur from Darrell Revis there. I was confused. I thought we were talking about Steph Curry, and then went to the Yankees, and next thing you know, you started singing. I was confused. Sometimes I'm not with you, Jay. My bad.
All good. That's what I'm here for.
Not only do we give the people what they want, we give them what they want first. It's time for some broken news. Jalen, remember when the Cavs had Dwayne Wade and they announced Ty Lue was so proud that he was going to be in the starting lineup? Well, here's what we had to say about that when that was announced.
If I'm him at this point of my career, I want to come off the bench.
Yeah, I might like that second unit. I might like going against that second unit a lot more.
And so we'll see because
we'll see. I think this storyline is going to fluctuate a lot.
A short-term solution to a long-term issue, and don't be surprised if they ultimately settle on the fact that JR's back in the starting lineup.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
And
I think they're going to shuffle their starting
play
lineup
with the
a lot.
second
They have a lot
unit.
of good players that can
We
start.
shall see.
Well,
I kind of couldn't hear what I was going to say because you were talking over me the entire time.
Listen, what I have to say is much more important than what you have to say, so I talk over you the entire time. Do you not know that? That's what the people want, Jalen Rose.
I didn't realize it sounded that way.
That's what the people want. Well, here we are, just 3 days into the regular season, and via our guy, Dave McMenamin, we have this report. He says, quote, Ty Lue says Dwayne Wade came to him and said he wants to come off the bench. J.R. Smith back to the starting five. Jalen, do you think Dwayne Wade really came to him with this idea?
Can I pull you behind the curtain?
Take us behind the curtain.
Dwayne Wade and LeBron James sit down with a nice bottle of red.
I like where this is going.
They like, let's put in a little footage since we started playing together in Cleveland.
Let's watch a little film. And Dwayne's like, we've never done this before.
First preseason game they got a chance to play. Happened to be the final one. Didn't go so well. LeBron had 7 turnovers. Let's pay attention to these plus minuses when we're in the game together. Not the same as it was in Miami. Nope. And the big distinction now is LeBron James either has designed, based on being the best player in the game, that he needs to play with guys to maximize their ability and his that are either knockdown catching shooters or guys that'll do the dirty work and the intangibles. And so Dwayne Wade being a slasher and Derrick Rose being a slasher and Bron having the ball, it's like, wait a minute. Milwaukee Bucks, they playing boxes and elbows. I can't get to the bucket. No. And we talked about it on this show. I gave an over-under of 10 games that this would not last until. And so I'm not surprised. You're clearly not surprised. This is why people come to our show, because everybody else will be like, oh, Dwayne Wade, he's a future Hall of Famer, he's a 3-time champion. You don't have to kiss up to the players to tell a fact. They respect it, they appreciate it. It just wasn't the best fit. Now coming off the bench with that second unit, I think he'll be able to get his rocks off.
I think that'll be much better for the Cavs. It's a better fit. You want to surround LeBron James with people that can shoot threes. You know who can't shoot threes? Dwayne Wade and Derrick Rose. He wants J.R. Smith out there. He can get him some buckets. So after he's done drinking that bottle of wine with Dwayne Wade, then he gets on the phone. He invites J.R. Smith over. He's like, J.R., and he opens the second bottle of red wine. What does he tell J.R. Smith?
He was like, you know that conversation we had when D-Wade first got to the team? I know you didn't take it so well. Mm-hmm. You even let the media know you didn't like the fact that you didn't get a chance to earn your starting spot basically because Ty Lue and me decided we was going to give it to my homeboy. But I got some good news for you. I was just talking to Coach Lue. I was just talking to D-Wade. We need you back in the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm. And
he's like, cool. Because, by the way, I got some film for you, too. When you got in the game, you was shooting the first thing that came to you. You was forcing bad shots. I gave it to you late in the shot clock one time and hit off the top of the backboard. We need you in at the beginning of the game so you can find your normal rhythm to help us win a championship together.
And one of the reasons you're here is not just to shoot threes, Mr. Smith. You also have to play defense, something that Dwayne Wade is no longer doing much of in his career. Now, you've already taken us behind the curtain, so let's just stay there. Let's just stay behind the curtain, Jalen Rose, because there's some other really interesting news just 3 games into the season that has come out from the NBA. Earl Watson has been relieved of his duties as head coach of the Phoenix Suns. How does a decision like this get made this early in the season? It seems like if you were going to make a change or if you were close to making a change, you wouldn't do it after 3 games. What is going on?
See, this is one of those things where as an organization, you still try to find yourself and understand what you hope to get accomplished from the top down. And if you're going to make a call like this, it clearly needs to take place in the offseason because you have more time to remedy it.
Exactly.
Find a coach. Develop your young players. Get them used to a system you want to run. Get them practicing things that you hope become a part of Josh Jackson's future, who's shown promise as a young prospect, and other young players that they have on their team like Devin Booker, who scored 70 points in an NBA basketball game before. And when you now have Eric Bledsoe, a seasoned veteran who's been around, saying he wants to be traded, it makes me wonder, did he understand that this organization was not making no sound decisions? This is why he came to them in the offseason and said he wanted to get moved before this even happened.
Yep.
And so now all of a sudden you send your season into a tailspin. But I know Jay Triano. I hope he does a really good job in the front seat. But I don't think Earl Watson got a true, clear opportunity to start this year because he got fired after 3 games.
And this Eric Bledsoe thing is spinning out of control. We all know by now that he tweeted, "I don't want to be here" at one point, and then he went to a meeting and he was sent home, and who knows, but if you're watching a re-air of this show, he could already be on a different team right now because we kind of air all night in ESPN News. And then there's also this, Jalen. When Suns GM Ryan McDonough was asked about the tweet, here's what he had to say. Quote, "He said that he was at a hair salon. I didn't believe that to be true. He won't be with us going forward." That's what you came up with, Eric Bledsoe? That's what you came up with? You know you don't want to be in the team when you don't even come up with a good excuse. I was at the hair salon? At the hair salon? That's what you're tweeting about? I don't want to be here at the hair salon?
Because he probably got a call from Rich Paul like, yo, that ain't the way we handle business, sir. That is not the way we handle business through Twitter. And so when he went into the office with the G, he's like, you know what? I was with the wife. He was at the hair salon. I was there for 4 hours. I just didn't want to be there anymore.
Here's the thing. I've been married a long time, or, not relatively to other people, but it feels like I've been with the same woman for, 15 years. One thing I'm not doing is going to the hair salon with her. He is a newlywed. He just got married this summer. You know you are a newlywed when you're taking the trip with your wifey to the hair salon. There's no chance I'm going to the hair salon and reading magazines for 2 hours while my wife gets her hair done. That is an opportunity for me to get away and do me. Lying about the hair salon. Come on,
just
Eric
happy
Bledsoe.
that Molly and you join me at Madison Square Garden and watch Detroit get a win on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Go Pistons!
Pistons look pretty good.
Bowl season is here. Are you ready to cash in on what you know? Where you play is as important as what you play. The pros play at mybookie.ag. All the lines, odds, and plays, both college and pro, all at mybookie.ag. Play where you get paid super fast and there's never a hassle. Step up and mybookie.ag will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus. Use promo code JJ50 to activate the offer. Don't leave the money on the table. mybookie.ag, promo code JJ50 pay $50 and your first deposit is matched up to 50%. Play where the pros play because they get paid. MyBookie.ag.
You can call 985-80-JALEN. Ladies, we especially need your calls because we only take female calls on Wednesdays.
Ladies!
If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail just like this.
What's up, Jalen and Jacoby? This is Kenny from Jersey. First and foremost, I want to say, love the podcast. Love what you guys do. In fact, when I wake up in the morning, shout out Jacoby, I got twins. So when I wake up in the morning, I wake my twins up for daycare. And they hear, and now, Jalen and Jacoby, they get up and start dancing. So shout out to you, Jacoby. But I got a bone to pick with y'all, man. I got a complaint and a suggestion. So whenever Jacoby says or mentions Women Crush Wednesday, of course Jalen goes, hey ladies. So how is it that, and this is particularly to you, Reg, that you guys can be Cameron fans and Dipset fans and not have this particular song that I'm about to mention for the Women Crush Wednesday segment? So, as you guys should know, Cameron's album Purple Haze, track 20, there's a song called Hey Lady. How have you guys not put this into the Women Crush Wednesday segment? That's a failed test for all you guys. Reggie, Jalen, and Jacoby. All you guys failed tests right there. All right? So my suggestion is this. Put either the sample, which is, of course, Zapp and Raja, I Want to Be Your Man sample. Great sample, by the way. Great song, by the way. Put the Hey Lady sample on the soundboard so Jalen doesn't have to say it. Or just use the instrumental from the song. All right? Again, Cameron, track 20, Purple Haze, Hey Lady. Put that on there. Give the people what they want. I'm a people. That's what I want. All right? Shout out.
There's a lot there. If you could always do Reggie's job for him. You know what I mean? He's very coachable. So call in and just tell him what to do.
What happened is Reggie was on the Breakfast Club this morning, so he just got to work.
There's a lot of different Hey Ladies out there in music. The one that I think of when Jalen says it is the Beastie Boys' Hey Ladies from Paul's Boutique album. Their number one, their single from that album, their first single from their second album. There's also this one that you're hearing now from Zapp and Raja, but there's other ones too. Like there's a lot of other old school Hey Ladies songs too. There's a lot of different Hey Ladies references. We need to go to genius.com and just Google Hey Ladies and have Reg pick up a new one every day. Oh, I'm sorry, that'd be work. Let's not do that then. Secondly, there's something that he said that made me very jealous, Jalen.
What's that?
He said he has to wake his twins up. I would give anything to have to wake my children up. I would give anything in the world to have to go in there and wake them up and say, hey, guys, it's a new day. Everybody wake up. Because that's not how it works around my house. Kids are up early. The sun doesn't even come up until like 6:45 a.m. in Los Angeles now. They're up at 5:45. How do they even know that it's morning time? All of them are up. I just let them sit in there and cry, too, for a long time before I go get them. Coughing, crying, asking for passies, all of that. Thanks so much for the call. Let's listen to another voicemail.
Hey, what up, guys? This is Easy the Prophet from Texas. Hey, so I'm finishing up Friday's podcast, driving up to the gym. And as I pull into the parking lot, I see a guy barefoot. No idea what he's doing. I'm kind of speechless. But my question is walking barefoot in public cultural? Like, come on, man, that's disgusting. And then he's walking in the parking lot barefoot. Like that is weird. I don't know. It's just weird to me. I don't even know what to say, honestly. But yeah, is it cultural? Let me know. I feel like going and letting this guy know to put some socks on, put on some of those big baller sandals or something, or slides, I guess. But anyway, shout out. I hope y'all have a good weekend. Y'all probably gonna listen till Monday, but hopefully Reggie finally puts me on. Love the show. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for the call. Easy to Prophet. We appreciate the love. Walking barefoot is not cultural.
Okay.
And here's what I mean.
Okay, explain.
Because normally, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if you see someone in public for an extended period of time and they're walking barefoot on different terrain like concrete or the grass or gravel on the parking lot or whatever, I would possibly give that individual the benefit of the doubt that there may be an issue or two that they're probably dealing with.
Yes, most of the people that I see in an urban environment that's not by a beach that are barefoot usually have something going on, mental illness, homelessness, some sort of issue.
And the reason why I said it wasn't cultural, however, is there are people that look like me to do that, but there are also people that look like you to do that.
Sure.
And I don't think culture is the definition of the distinction. I think finance also plays a part.
So now, let me go with Easy to Profit's question and just go up one level, because I saw this recently. There's this thing where, like, you know, people, scientists, doctors, whatever, came out with this thing saying that barefoot running is how it's best for your body, right? So it's like, you know, you've seen the running sneakers with the individual toes, and, you know, Nike Free came out. That was probably 10 years ago, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. I saw a dude jogging through my neighborhood, which is an urban environment. This is not suburban. This is not the country. This is buses, trains, dirt, dogs, people everywhere, dirty. Running barefoot, Jalen Rose. What? That's cultural.
Well, I used to always believe getting a new pair of gym shoes just made me run faster.
Okay.
So I used to race the whole hood once I got some new kicks.
Were you fast?
I mean, I became a professional athlete. I would hope I was just as fast as the people that I raced in my neighborhood that didn't achieve that feat.
Pun intended.
You like that? You like that? I'm kind of good at this job.
And of course not. Can you only call 985-80-JALEN to leave us voicemails? You can also hit us on Twitter. People hit us up on Twitter today. We've got, let me see here. Ryan wants to know, Jalen, soft move or boss move? My friend put the gum in his mouth on the rim of his adult beverage to save it for later so he could have fresh breath. Soft move or boss move?
That's a soft move.
I like this. I'm going boss move right there. I'm going boss move.
Man, let me tell you something. When you go and purchase gum, it comes in a pack, right?
What if this? You don't know this was his last piece? Could be his last piece. I'm assuming it's last piece.
No, I'm not rolling.
What about Marcellus Wiley style, carrying around a huge bottle of water and then chewing up gum and putting it in the bottle of water to give it a little of a minty taste?
That's just nasty.
I like it.
That's just trifling. That dude, I feel like that. We got to get him to come on the program and talk about that, because that's just trifling.
Yeah, I like that move. I've always liked it.
That's family, though. So, anybody that Adam know that we 100.
Of course. Next thing, is it possible for Sam Presti to finesse Bledsoe for Robertson and Grant? I don't think so. I don't think anyone's too interested in Robertson right now.
Yeah, not if he shot 2 air balls from the free throw line on national television.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be great. Grant was pretty good though. I've seen him in a couple of those OKC games. I was like, he got I remember bounce. Him. Yeah,
he has activity. He has bounce.
Yeah, you can throw him lobs.
You need
and
young
stuff.
players like that out there playing minutes.
Will the trio in OKC? This is from James. Will the trio in OKC last an entire season?
So I'm gonna hit the brakes on OKC real quick.
Okay.
Now, there was not a person speaking into a microphone nationally as consistent as me since the end of last year's playoffs when I saw OKC play and basically not show up and help Russell Westbrook as they got bounced by the Rockets. Every day I was trying to get somebody to go to OKC. I talked about Melo, Paul George, Boogie. I've been trying to create another super team, because Russell Westbrook is a top 5 player in the game. As I watch the Oklahoma City Thunder perform, it's unique when you have a big three and everybody does something completely different. So, like, when the Celtics added Ray Allen to play with Paul, Ray was the shooter, Paul was the slasher that could shoot, a go-to guy. KG was down low doing all of the 2010, 5, 2 block, 2 steal things that the big check it did. When I watch OKC, the dynamic that's going to be off, and let me rewind the tape. The dynamic that's going to be off is playing Carmelo Anthony as a starter at power forward in the Western Conference.
Ooh, explain.
For those that have not been paying attention, a dynamic scorer, a guy that's going to stretch the floor, while he is a capable catch-and-shoot player, that's not going to be his forte, shooting 65% of his shots from 3. That's just not how he's going to be able to consistently balance what I'm about to explain is going to take place on the other end of the floor. The top teams in the game, uniquely, the Golden State Warriors play KD and Draymond 4-5.
Yep.
Not a good matchup for Carmelo.
Nope.
The San Antonio Spurs play LaMarcus and Powell. They just gave both of them $120 million. I wouldn't have done that. Not necessarily a good thing when LaMarcus Aldridge got him on the block. Blake Griffin, 2010 and 5 guy consistently in his career. How about Anthony Davis or Boogie? Like, you pick which one he's going to have to guard. And while each player has strengths and weaknesses, what is Melo's weakness?
Defense.
So you know what happens when you're playing against a guy that's been a power forward or a center their whole life?
Like Blake Griffin.
But you play small forward in high school and college, and now you converted in the East because there are not many powerful 4s and 5s that can punish you. What's going to happen is you get guys like Taj Gibson, for example. They're just big, throwing their forearms around, their elbows around, they're just stronger than you. And what's going to end up happening is foul trouble.
You know what's going to end up happening?
Frustration.
Carmelo's going to have to box out. You know, Carmelo doesn't want to box out. Like, that's not Carmelo Anthony's thing. You know, I'm not trying to box out Blake Griffin, who's running around pushing me.
And so I appreciate the fact that OKC in a tight game ran a curl play, got it to Russell, drove left, kicked it out to Melo, made a big-time 3. But as the game slows down, I'm going to be watching his fouls. That's what you pay attention to moving forward against the elite teams, especially playing the power forward spot.
We have one final question. This is from Reddit. Make sure you go to reddit.com/r/Jalen and Jacoby. We post questions there. It's a community of people listening to the show. I'm in there listening, seeing what all of you are talking about. It's a question, one last question. Soft move or boss move? You're in line to get on the freeway and you see someone who's trying to cut. You keep the space tight with the car in front of you to prevent the cutter from cutting in. Soft
I'm
move
glad
or
you
boss
went
move?
there. This is one of the all-time selfish and soft moves of the history of individuals that are in vehicles.
What? The car cut?
I had somebody do this to me driving over here today.
Okay, talk to me, because I've got a story to tell about this too.
I can't make this up. I'm literally making a left turn in 50 feet. It's a red light. This person is behind me honking that I should be going faster as I'm slowing down because the light is red. What? I was just in New York this past weekend. Can't make this up. A car will honk at you just to get 2 inches. Like the light is red. Where are you going? It ain't my fault you running late or you in a rush.
So, my wife may or may not, in the super van, we call it the super van, the minivan mafia, power couple, capo. We're in the super van. We're going somewhere. We're a little late. It was a workout. You know, you got to get there on time. She cut a long line. Boss move. The person behind us that we cut didn't honk, didn't get mad. They just straight up pulled up half on the road and half on like the gravel, like dirt, and just recut us. Boss move from them. They're like, I don't care if you cut, but you're not cutting me.
But again, when we're rushing, we act out of desperation.
Mm-hmm.
Are there times I've been the dude driving on the gravel?
Of course.
Yes. And you know what makes me even madder? A dude that don't know why I'm rushing somewhere. I could be bleeding from my head. That wants to get over on the gravel just to block me. I never understood that at all.
In the Sunday night game between the Falcons and the Patriots, we had a very strange sighting. No, not the fog. No, not the camera angle thing. It was this. Bill Belichick actually fist pumping. What do you think of this this display of human emotion from Mr. Belichick?
I think he has done a terrific job of allowing the public and allowing the media to feel like he is so serious about his job. That's the only thing in life that he's ever concerned with. Therefore, he's never happy. He's never satisfied. He's never content.
No days off.
He doesn't enjoy his job. He is not happy. He's just a guy wearing a cutoff hoodie. So when I see this level of emotion, which isn't much, it just makes me think what I already know. He's a human being.
What I love about it is that if I'm correct, I believe this was after a blocked field goal early in the game. Like, it wasn't a big touchdown or the clock running out. It was a blocked field goal. He got pumped about it. Good for Bill Belichick and the Patriots. So there's been so much attention about the national anthem protests. It feels like we're at an all-time high from the actual discussion about it. It's being talked about by non-sports media. It's being talked about by the White House. And then we have Adam Schefter reporting that the anthem has affected ratings to the point and merchandise sales to the point where it has pretty much delayed the completion of Roger Goodell's contract. Now, with all that being said, this weekend in the 14 games that were played on Thursday and Sunday, there were only 11 players that sat or knelt during the national anthem. Is the hype and the discussion and all of this spun out of control and way blown out of proportion to the actual protest?
Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, people.
Okay.
The gentlemen who chose their jobs, in this case, football on Sunday, Monday, and or Thursday, that are actual NFL players, I applaud them for standing for something. Otherwise, you fall for anything, because most people aren't willing to make that sacrifice for their job or their profession. So they need to be commended, because as an American citizen and someone that pays taxes, this is what our great country is about. Allowing you the opportunity to have emotions, have feelings, and have the opportunity to do exactly what you feel at that moment. In this case, some people have chosen to kneel. Other people have chosen to be seated. Now, when you talk about the ratings and the jersey sales being down, you can't dispute those facts. Mm-hmm. But since the monopoly that the NFL has over the United States of America is going to continue for decades and decades to come, there could also be other reasons for those declines, like millennials aren't watching as much television. They're not as excited about the current stars in the game.
The National Basketball Association as well.
Aaron Rodgers, Odell Beckham, J.J. Watt, major pitchmen have been injured. How about this one? People don't talk about the fact that when Colin Kaepernick actually chose to be seated or take a knee, where did his jersey rank amongst sales? Oh, it was number one. So what about the fact that there are actually people that are protesting the league because he does not have a job at this point? And by the way, it's almost becoming laughable when I see Carson Palmer, Jake Cutler. These guys go down and get injured on a weekly basis. Like, it's become a mockery at this point that Colin Kaepernick hasn't gotten an opportunity to quarterback in the National Football League.
What do you think about this extension from Roger Goodell? Like, why were they discussing it in the first place? He doesn't seem to be someone who's in a position who's doing such a great job that we need to lock him in before some other company comes along and steals him away.
See, this is where I don't lose why the people were protesting social equality and police brutality versus the actual conversation that surrounds it. And the same thing I'm not going to do for Roger Goodell. He's going to get a deal. He isn't in the final year of his contract. And lastly, the NFL still printing money. And so as long as that's happening for 32 owners, he's going to have his status. Now, are there people behind the scenes like a Jerry Jones trying to use the fact that he isn't currently signed by saying, hey, we'll take some leverage on the fact that if you're not able to get everybody to be seated, to stand and salute the flag when it's being played, then we'll delay your bread. We'll delay your contract. It's still going to get done, and we all know it.
So last week, after beating the Chiefs, there were some murmurs and some rumors around the Steelers that Martavis Bryant was actually requesting a trade and that he wanted out. Well, after the game this week, he did something which is never a good idea. He went into the comments on Instagram and he posted this about people saying that his cohort, Juju Smith-Schuster, was a better player. Quote, Juju is nowhere better than me, fool. All they need to do is give me what I want, and y'all can have Juju and whoever else. So now we have Martavis Bryant going into the Instagram comments and not just defending himself, but also kind of dissing his teammate. He did go on later to delete that and then write about how great Juju is and blah, blah, blah. Why does he think that going through Instagram comments is going to get him what he wants?
I'll never deny somebody that feels like they have one opportunity, but they're plotting for a better one.
Okay.
Never. Because that's what being successful is all about. Had he settled at one point of his life, he never would have gotten to the position that he's in. So to pursue what he hopes is a bright future, possibly with another team, I can't be mad at that. For a player who's shown flashes of being able to stretch the field and make plays, but also can be suspended for habitual.
Habitual medicinal in long periods of time.
I would say there's only one term that I could use. That's just unprofessional.
You know, it's like
because you don't talk about your team and or your teammate publicly in a negative light, especially in somebody's Instagram comments.
Come on now. It's not what you do, it's how you do it, Martavis. If you want to leave, there's another way to approach this. You can get what you want in a much more professional manner, and I hope you do get what you want. Not everything is worth discussing. If it is worth discussing, Jalen Rose will ask me to hit the brakes. If it's not, we'll just keep moving with Method Man. The NFL has not ruled out the possibility of Janet Jackson joining Justin Timberlake at halftime of the Super Bowl. Keep it moving and hit the brakes.
Jay-Z turned that gig down. I love Justin. Keep it moving. And by the way, I love Beyonce, but her and Janet, they about equal.
What?
Man.
What?
Penny from Good Times?
What?
Janet Control?
What?
Pleasure Principle? Oh.
Jalen, we're about the same age, so this is not an age thing. Beyonce over Janet all day, every day, forever and ever and ever. And I'm going to pretend you never said that and just move on. They have updated MVP odds in the NBA with a new favorite. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
I know who it is. Hit the brakes. Not just knee deep. He just got knee deep. Once he did the Frank with me.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is now the favorite of MVP. I know it's earlier in the season, but he is averaging 38.3 points, 9.7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2.7 blocks, 1 steal a game, 67% shooting. What do you expect this torrid pace to keep up for Giannis Antetokounmpo?
I do. Like, his height, he doesn't settle. You know, sometimes when people aren't knockdown shooters, in particular from three, all of a sudden they find themselves standing behind the three-point line and people like open for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
He's the kind of guy, he's so long, and now he can embrace contact. All he do is go downhill and drive at you. So you're better off just not giving him that space. He turns over both shoulders. He dunks with both hands. He scores off post-ups. He scores in transition. Like, the sky's the limit for him literally as a basketball player and competes on the defensive end.
Yep.
You hear people always say, well, that guy guards 5 positions. Ha, 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 ha. No, they don't. The only 2 guys in the league that guard 5 positions are Greek Freak and Draymond Green.
That's interesting. Next, Mark Cuban has some ideas about how to solve tanking.
I like Mark Cuban. I'm glad Rick Carlisle's that coach. Get well soon, Steph Curry. He ain't the person to talk about this. Keep it moving.
Yeah, let's keep it moving.
Because he just talked last year about why it was a good idea.
LeBron James threw his daughter Zuri a beautiful birthday party. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
He's the king. Keep it moving. Happy birthday.
In Italy, a police escort ruined the Venice Marathon. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes. I saw David Jacoby finish a marathon.
I was tired at the end of that. Woof. That beer tasted good, though. Runners followed a police motorcycle, and it took a right-hand turn, which took them 1 minute the wrong way. This took them into the highway, on the highway, and it also allowed for a Venice native to make up a 1 minute gap and win the marathon. What are the chances you would run a marathon?
I would run, but I wouldn't finish.
Good point. Good point. You got to wake up really early, though. It's like really early in the morning.
I ran cross country for 4 years in high school, but that's 3 miles. And we were pushing people down half of it.
We have some statue news. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
You must. It's mandatory. You hit the brakes.
Jalen Rose is the senior statue analyst, not just at ESPN, but of the world. And the news is the statue from Rocky III could sell for up to $1 million. This is, that's him with his arms raised up, boxing gloves on. Here's the catch, though. It is the backup statue used in case something happened to the first one. Smart by the artist that did it. Question for you. Would you care if it was the real statue or the backup statue?
I wouldn't care because it's become so iconic and it identifies so much with the city of Philadelphia that there are people out here that actually think Sylvester Stallone is from there. It's crazy.
Brace yourself. Jalen Rose is about to explain a movie plot.
Explain the plot to Rocky III.
You know I know the plot to Rocky. Is that the one Mr. T was in? Clubber Lang wasn't in that? What about Apollo Creed?
Oh, Mr. T was in it.
See? You giving misinformation. I pity the fool who don't know the difference between a Rocky movie 1 and 2. Especially
You're
when
watching
it's 3.
Jalen and Jacoby. We'll be back tomorrow if we don't get canceled.